The home was originally used by John Ingersoll, who was a Secretary of War in the late 1700s, for a hideout for him and his family. During the War of 1812, Joseph Peabody, the wealthiest shipping merchant, purchased the home for $75,000 from Mr. Ingersoll. Peabody sailed as a captain of merchant vessels and built and freighted 83 ships. Peabody was upset about the town putting in Route 1 so close to his house, so he paid the town to move the road further away from his home so he didn't have to listen to all the noise from the road. In later years, Joseph's granddaughter, Ellen Peabody Endicott, who was married to William Endicott at the time, took over the grounds. The mansion was renovated in 1893 to give it a more classical look. Originally, the home was just a big house on a big piece of property, but over the years, so much has been added to the property and home. The couple turned the 20 acres into 130 and used most of the land for farming and harvesting. The old-fashioned gardens were designed and planted in 1814 and 1815. The gardens were designed by George Huesler. From the old-fashioned gardens, a path was constructed to lead to the Peabody gazebo. The gazebo was placed there in the memory of the Peabody family and they being the owners of the property for so many generations. The circular drive was laid out in the 1890s by the architecture firm named Olmsted, and Elliott. The new drive forced them to move some farm buildings for the plan to work. The flower gardens were added in 1896 by a Mr. Joseph Chamberlain. It was to replicate the Italian style of gardens. Ellen Endicott won the Hunnewell Gold Medal from the Massachusetts Horticulture Society before she passed away. The Hunnewell Golden Medal was like the Nobel Peace Prize for gardens.
These mist-covered mountains are a home now for me, but my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer burn to be brothers in arms.
In 1901, the son of Ellen, William Endicott, Jr., pushed for the Derby summer home, built in 1794, was moved to the property. In 1904, Hebert Brown designed the Rose Garden in an enclosed brick area with two fountains behind the Derby home. One fountain, which sits in the middle of the garden on a marble slate, is known as the Boy from Pompeii. The other is known as Thermes, which is a rather large fountain in the back of the garden. In 1930, Brown designed a path, and on each side of the path, Brown wanted columns, so for construction he brought in 10 marble columns, which he purchased for $10 apiece. The columns were later covered by trees overgrown and got the name Cushing Pergola. On the farm, they produced dairy from the cows they raised. Eventually, they opened up the farm to the community for those who didn't have farmland themselves. The community was allowed to use part of the land to grow their own food and raise their own cattle to make a profit. The Glen magna farms are still used today, but in a different sense. Today it is showing what it looked like back in the 1800s. It also is used to hold wedding ceremonies, usually under the Peabody gazebo. Corporate meetings and other private parties are held here too. The architecture and landscape exemplify the American way in the 17, 18, and 1900s.